Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thanks for calling this hearing to take a closer look at the FAA's oversight of commercial space transportation. This committee has not convened a hearing on commercial space transportation since 2009, and I think we can all agree that there have been many exciting advancements in the industry that have occurred over the last 7 years, so I think it's really ripe for us to take a look. And as we've seen recently, there's a great deal of promise with the expansion of the commercial space industry. Take, for instance, Blue Origin's success this weekend in landing the New Shepard rocket for the 4th time. This reusable capsule could be used in the future for human spaceflight. Or SpaceX, which has been able to land its Falcon 9 rocket on an unmanned ship after successful missions to deliver communication satellites into orbit. But the promise of commercial space does not end there. Several other companies, including many in my home state, are venturing into uncharted territory when it comes to mining asteroids, developing reusable vehicles, repairing satellites in orbit, and other research that we once thought was impossible. In fact, this week in Seattle, there's a conference on space where many of the leading companies in the industry are showcasing the latest in commercial space, including commercial space transportation. But with that immense promise comes the need to make sure that we have a robust safety framework in place, and it's not an easy thing to achieve, particularly as Congress is cautious not to overregulate this nascent industry. The commercial space industry reminds me a lot of what we're currently confronting with unmanned aircraft systems. Both industries are users of the national airspace, experiencing fast-paced growth, and both in their relative infancy. As technology rapidly evolves, the regulatory side is continually playing catch-up. The small UAS rule the FAA announced yesterday is representative of this challenge. The FAA had to balance the interests of the public and other uses of the national airspace while at the same time being careful not to stifle the industry. So as the commercial space industry continues to evolve, we are going to face similar challenges. So I'm very curious to hear what our witnesses' perspectives are on how the government and industry can work together to build consensus around a regulatory framework that fosters innovation while achieving the highest possible level of safety. I'm also interested to hear some perspectives on how we can safely and efficiently integrate commercial space launches into our air traffic control system. Since 1989, the FAA has licensed or permitted over 280 commercial space launches. Those numbers are forecasted certainly to significantly increase in the coming years. What that means is the FAA's air traffic controllers will need to coordinate existing operations with those of the commercial space industry and of course, throw into that UAS. It will not be an easy undertaking. So to me, it seems the most prudent way to accomplish, that is by having all of our air traffic control operations reside with the FAA, the agency which is also responsible for licensing of these commercial space launches. And while it does not fall under the jurisdiction of this committee, it would be remiss if I did not mention my interest in commercial space exploration and its impacts on national security. As a member of the Armed Services Committee, I urge all of us to pay close attention to how the DoD leverages the private sector for national security missions, including launches. And as commercial capabilities in satellite imaging and communications continue to improve, the DoD's use of those services will also grow. Thus, I consider it vital that the DoD be given a seat at the table when the FAA exercises oversight of commercial space transportation, given the national security interests at stake as well. So it's a very exciting time for commercial space and commercial space transportation, and I look forward to learning more this morning. And with that, I want to again thank the Chairman for holding this hearing and yield back.
Thank you, Mr.